Hello everyone, my name is Rituja and I'm the co-founder of Viviva Colors. Today I'm so honored and so happy to have a lovely guest, Tracy, join us. I'm going to take a minute to briefly introduce her. She's someone who wears so many hats. She is having her own art store, a shop in Ohio, if I remember that correctly. And she's also mother of six kids and many more grandkids. She is also a stunning artist, an illustrator, and somebody who mixes technology with traditional art. And we'll get into a little more detail a little while later. But welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much for I'm really honored to be here.
Nice. How is your morning been so far?
Great, very busy and working on plans for a lot of projects coming up. So it's very exciting.
Nice. So since we talked about you donning so many hats, let's start with that. How do you juggle between so many roles? What's the secret?
Sure, sure. So there are a lot of interest in various types of art here in Canton, Ohio, where I am from. So I have been in a tech world for a long time in marketing, and I am leaving that world at the end of June to pursue my art full time. And I did open a store, studio, gallery in Canton, Ohio, 9 months ago. It's called Brutifully. And here I open the doors to showcasing other artists, but also teaching art and having a place that everyone in the community can explore different types of art. So you can paint, you can hand sculpt, you can do embroidery, fiber art, mixed media, all kinds.
That sounds lovely. Like 9 months ago is not too long back, right?
No, and that's just the store. I've been an artist, oh my gosh, since I was 7 years old. So a very long time.
Oh, that's like forever, I can say.
Yes, definitely, definitely. That was the first time I remember vividly
Mhm.
working on a mural for the holidays in our classroom and just in my soul feeling I want to be an artist when I grow up.
So I think let's start right from the start, right? We'll come to the shop much later. But, tell me a little bit about childhood. Like, what made you at the age of 7 pick up art? Was it the family or somebody else? What was your
I,
inspiration?
That's a great question because my mother always was very forward facing, drawing, making art, doing things with whatever supply she could find. We grew up in a very rural part of Ohio in an area called Hocking Hills, and we were on my grandpa's farm for a while. We had really no resources to an art store, no way to get to a museum. And so I really found out through encyclopedias, more or less,
Wow.
on just art and art history and just the love of color, and then watching my mother. And then realizing as I got older, my father was very creative. He designed and built the home that we eventually moved into. And I just didn't realize how creative he was until I grew up to understand the ways that he used his creativity. So it did surround me in various ways, but not in very practical or ways that I could see that I would be able to have a career in art. So as I went through high school, I was in art class and I loved it, and I did as much art as I could in different ways. And then when college came along, I didn't know what having a portfolio was. I didn't have one ready. I wanted to do art as a career, but my parents were frightened of that prospect of what are you going to do with it as a job? So and I hear that a lot in the art community. And so I pursued art education. I thought I would be an art teacher. And as I started my university career, I began to see computers come into play. And I thought, I think I need to change my major. I need to do something with this industry. So I did. I changed it. So I eventually had an associate's in art. I have a bachelor in marketing, and then I have a master's in information and telecommunication systems. But I always found a way to sneak creativity into my job and into my career and into my world. And I've done that my whole life.
But that has nothing to do with each other, right? Like art and
No.
information communications are like as different as chalk and cheese.
Right, right. It really has been, but it has really played well into my merger of technology and using
Mhm.
apps and making art with traditional mediums and putting them together because it's opened the eyes of younger artists to realize they can do something with so many, paint materials and traditional mediums and still bring technology into it. So I'm speaking their language and I'm also, broadening people's minds to what art can do to engage the community. And I love that.
Absolutely. It makes you more relatable and more relevant in today's time and day, right?
Yes, definitely. And that's so ironic because I am a grandma of five and we do have six children. And it is just so funny that I have led that kind of way of thinking in our community. In Stark County in 2019, I painted the first augmented reality mural. It's a 20-foot wall with traditional paints, with acrylic paints, and it uses an app called Artivive, which is based in Austria. And you use that app to open up this whole animated world when you can be in the video with the artwork. No one had ever done that before. And I wanted to make it so engaging and interactive. It opened so many doors for me.
Very nice to hear that. This kind of reminds me of this one place I'd been to in Paris, the Van Gogh Museum, which is, where they use technology to kind of bring out the flavors of his paintings. And it's so incredible, like you feel that you're a part of the painting. So, coming back to you, what made you take this step into this direction? Because I'm sure many years ago, when you started augmented reality and kind of using art and mixing it with augmented reality, this was not the norm. So, what made you kind of get into that? Was it
Right.
foresight or something else?
It may have been a little foresight. I really wanted to find something that would not cost the viewer anything to be able to interact with the art. And so I started to do some research, and I did not tell the people I was painting the mural for that I was looking for this like surprise element. So when I found Artivive and then realized I could use my skills that I already had, and I used Procreate to do a lot of my digital drawing. And at the time, they didn't have an animation program with that. So I drew frame by frame each animation, old school, to create this beautiful world to come alive with my mural. And I loved it. It reminded me of, wow, if I could have worked for like Disney and got to draw these animations, that love of that old school practice, marrying it with the technology, and then really the challenge of I'm going to learn this, I'm going to promote this, I'm going to share this, I'm going to educate with this. There's something about that excites me and makes me want to have people, oh my gosh, question, what's going on? How did you do this? And it's that conversation that gets started and gets them engaged in the art. It's more than just looking at something and walking away. It is part of being in this conversation about what tools did you use? What paints did you use? How did you do that? And it's that storytelling. And that is just has my heart. It always has.
Correct. No, it's really unique in that sense, and it gives you that aha moment, the delight factor, as I call it, which sets it apart from any typical painting that is out there. So tell me one of these paintings that you've done using, AR. What has been the most special one or the one that's closest to your heart? And can you describe that a little bit for our audience? Like, what did you do about with that painting?
Sure. Well, definitely the very first mural, which is believing in life and the colors of life. And so this hand comes and it opens this jar and a butterfly flies out and it moves and the colors are all changing. So that definitely has my heart because it is still there in our mall indoors and it's a beautiful mural. I've really enjoyed having the opportunity to also do some work with our local chamber of commerce. And so there was a mural of a squirrel and she was riding a bike and she was going through the community and all of the background was moving and it was changing locations throughout our county to give you places to visit. I loved that. People thought that was so cool to be able to stand there and be part of this journey that this little squirrel was riding the bike and going through town, because squirrels are everywhere here. And we have so many beautiful things that you can visit and see within our county. I loved that mural. And I was so engaged with creating coloring pages so the kids could color their own version of it, and just finding other opportunities to connect with that audience. And so I love the element of being able to share a story and get people thinking about, oh, I could go here and see this because I saw this in this mural.
Correct. No, that you're basically also making a difference in the community, right? In a way,
Yes,
through this.
definitely.
And I don't feel that this is just for kids. It's for all age groups, I would say. So
It definitely is. I've
very
done a lot
positive.
of digital I guess awareness posters with my artwork. And so they have gone into businesses, and when you use the app, they actually tell you health information, or they tell you directionals, or they give you information about an event. I did the cover of our hot air balloon festival, and the t-shirts matched. So the t-shirts and the cover both animated and talked about the festival and talked about the whole, area. That was really a neat project as well.
Nice. It's a lot more capturing, right? When you see something moving like that.
It is.
Very nice. It's fascinating to hear that, really. So, what role you became a mom to six kids. So what role did that have in the art that you make today?
Yes. So we are a blended family. So my husband had three boys and I have three girls. And so we have six total together. And I
Mhm.
was always creative. As my girls were growing up, I made their clothing, I made their costumes, I painted on their clothes, I made invitations for every party. I handmade as many things as possible. And it showed them that you could do and make anything that you want to, as long as you put your mind to it. And they all grew up very creative. One is a beautiful photographer, another one does gorgeous pottery, another is a wonderful writer, and they've used their creativity in so many beautiful ways, and they continue to. And ironically, my husband and I have known each other since we were 12 years old, and we were in art class together, so I knew he was very creative. And his sons, they're all tradesmen, and they are welders and can make amazing, metal sculptures and staircases. Two are electricians. I mean, they've got their father's creativity and used that for their trades. So it is just, between the both of us, we just marvel at our children and love to see our grandchildren even become so creative. They all love building things, drawing things. I taught my youngest granddaughter, at the time she was 3, on how to draw and Procreate. She is 7 now, and she is writing out instructions to show how to use the program. And she is 7 years old. She's never forgotten how to use it. We draw together, we show each other our artwork. It is so important to me to show how creativity can be part of your everyday life and in what you do as a career. And I love that they're all doing that.
Nice. Catch them young, as they say, no?
Definitely.
So that's indeed very special, you know, to hear about. And one more question that I had was, you blend traditional media with, art. That's one thing that you do. You are also mentoring people in terms of like coming into the world of art. So tell me a little bit about that.
That is just one of the most wonderful parts of what I do here at my studio. I
Mhm.
love that I've created something that no one else has had. I've had this in my mind for quite a while, and I am so honored to be able to showcase, for one, the other artists that are in the community. So there's a big wall, and it's an exhibit available once a month. They get to put whatever they're creating, and then if they sell anything, they keep 100%. I take no commission. That is their artwork, their materials. I promote that. I give them an opening reception. I just celebrate that art. Then we have classes. And so people coming in wanting to learn how to use color pencils, how to watercolor, how to paint with acrylics, anything that they want, they can come to a class and we'll create for that class. But I also have the opportunity to just pop in. You can just come in, bring some food and drinks in, sit down and enjoy some time and get to learn how to do something from the materials that I have. So maybe I have some air dry clay. You would love to learn how to hand sculpt something. We're doing hand sculpted watercolor palettes, and we'll resin those, and they'll get to use their watercolors in a palette that they've handmade. And so I love cross promoting art, doing mixed media. I'm very eclectic, if you can't tell. I love color, I love all
Colors.
kinds of
Mm.
materials, and I want that available to everyone because maybe somebody doesn't have the funds to purchase all that they need to do a project. Come here. Let's try it first, see if it's something you really want to do, and then you can spend more money to invest in those, materials. But come here and try it. That's really important to me.
Such places are very rare, it's almost like a temple for art. Everybody is welcome.
Oh, yes.
And I'm
Oh,
sure they can pull up
definitely.
with something. So amongst, you mentioned that you're a mixed media artist, you pretty much use everything right out there. But deep within your heart, what is that one medium that you love the most?
Oh gosh, I love fiber. I love fiber to use as a substrate for paint. I love being able to take my drawings and make them into clothes. That's what I have on now. These are my
Yeah,
paintings that
looks
I
incredible.
do. Fiber has my heart. I love incorporating it into a mixed media piece.
Mhm.
It tells a story, it gives texture. I love investigating how it works with different types of paint. It's just so versatile and wonderful and something that we would have a memory. Maybe it's a piece of a shirt someone had worn that meant something to you, and you incorporate that in a beautiful painting or a piece of art or sculpture, and it just brings more to that story. I just love that.
Nice. And it's not a very common thing. Usually when you ask people this question, people usually say like acrylics or oil paints or watercolors. This is actually quite unique for me to hear about.
Oh, thank you.
And another question that I had was, we talked about multiple roles, so let's move to another role. You're also like an illustrator separately. So how do you then find time to sit and create when you're sort of in the midst of conducting classes, you have your own shop, you're also mentoring people. So when do you find time to actually create for yourself?
Okay, so I have a very odd habit. I get up very early in the morning and I love to do my art when things are very quiet. So I love that we have dogs and cats at home and koi fish. And so they're very sweet. And if it's summer, I can go outside and I can paint in the beautiful, air. Or if it's in the winter, I have the fireplace going, but it's just time for me and I can create whatever in my mind and on my heart. And it's like breathing. I have to create every day or I feel stressed. I love having that moment to create something for myself, or if I'm working on something that I know that maybe I want to put in a show. I love that time in the very early moments of the morning.
I remember the other day when we were exchanging some emails and I got an email at a very early hour in the morning. And I was like, what time is it at Tracy's place? It was probably 4:30 or 5 in the morning.
That's me, yes.
So tell us a bit about your morning routine, for all the art lovers and the audience who's actually listening to this podcast. Tell us a bit about your morning routine and if you can give us some tips.
Oh, sure. It's always just like I have a lot of energy in the morning. I love creating in the morning. I always make a coffee. I
Mm-hmm.
have a very big love for that. And so I either sit and if I have traditional materials, they're all out around me. It's I never want to change out of my PJs. I create my PJs. I just love having that moment to just the focus is art. And I love having the materials right there. Sometimes I'll create digitally. Maybe it's a Procreate piece that I'm drawing. I have a big Wacom tablet. Sometimes it may be working on that. It's something that I'm doing with my hands and creating. I usually listen to a podcast or some music. I love having that in the background. I really don't turn on the television at all. It's just, me and my art. And I do that until about 7:30 when I start my full-time job right now. until that ends on June 30th. So I really find that those few hours are very productive, and it gets me set for the day to tackle, tasks and things that I have to do and things that I know that I won't have time. But I always remember, oh, I really liked how that turned out. Or maybe something's drying. So at lunchtime, I can go back, and if it's a mixed media piece, add the next layer. Or, plan on bringing it with me to the studio in the evening and doing more work on it. But it's just always that jump start to my day that just gives me so much energy, and I love it.
Right. It's like that one big tick mark, in your to-do list for the day, right? And not because it's a chore, but something that gives you that feeling of, okay, I've got a nice head start for the day.
Yeah, it's very
So,
meditative.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And it's your time. It's like the Tracy time of the day.
Definitely.
And also kind of, makes me feel that, we as people always want something to look forward to. So I'm sure like the work that you started in the morning, you also have to look forward to that. Like, okay, now I need to go and finish something once I go back home. So there's always something to look forward to
Yes,
once you
that's a
start.
great way to put it. Absolutely is something to look
Mhm.
forward to.
Nice. So, Tracy, going back to your how you mix technology with traditional art, what advice do you have for people who are actually looking to get into something like that, and why should you get into something like that? Just some thoughts out there.
Sure. I think that we are intimidated by technology, confused by it. So I think it's very important to self educate on what technology is available to you, find avenues to use the most, cost effective technology. Don't be afraid of it, find ways to embrace it. And I know there's a lot of confusion between AI and AR and VR. Augmented reality is not the same as artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence generates a final product based on things that has been given to reference, where your AR is can be your drawings, your
Original.
paintings, your
Yeah.
original pieces, and your hand is in that. So that's completely different. And I'm getting ready to do my first virtual reality led mural. So I'm going to wear a headset, and I'm going to project that within the headset onto the wall to be able to paint it without using a projector. Because I use a projector very often to get the lines and the sizing correct,
Yeah.
and
The
this is going to be
detailing.
the first time, right? So using the Contour app and being able to use that kind of technology is new to me. And again, I'm a grandma and I'm doing this and I am not afraid. Please
I
don't
have to
let
say at
fear.
this point, you're the coolest grandmom that I know.
Well, thank you.
I'm
That
being
means a
very
lot.
honest at this point.
I appreciate that, and it should give you the satisfaction of that no one is too old to try anything. You
Yeah.
should try it. Do not fear technology. Don't let it intimidate you. Don't make it make you worried that your work is going to be diminished because it's out there. There are so many ways to use it to your advantage, and just keep up on it. It changes so often, and don't be afraid to show your processes. Don't be afraid to show your art. Start a social media page. Show the good, the bad, the ugly. It's all relevant. You will relate to someone so deeply by being your authentic self more than you can imagine. So please, please do that and continue to explore traditional mediums and traditional materials. And, don't be afraid. I used to be afraid to go into an art store to ask for gouache paint because I didn't know how to say gouache. And so I would never ask for it. And I was so worried about how to use it. Don't let fear stop you. Try
Yeah.
everything.
Especially like, don't afraid to be silly, right? Sometime. Like, so what
Oh,
if you mispronounce it?
absolutely. I
Yeah.
love
So
that.
what?
Yes.
Well, that's a really cool thing that you said. You have to keep trying. And one important thing that you said some time back, which I agree on, is like people have a very negative outlook towards technology, which is like, oh, AI is coming and taking up our jobs, and AI is coming and, going to take up the work of all artists, which is not the complete truth. We can always use different ways of showing up a traditional art using technology. That can be the output or the outlet, but the inlet can always be your own brain and your own creativity out there. So I think I'm going to kind of take this one thing from this podcast today.
That makes me very happy. Yes, that is a great takeaway from our discussion.
Wonderful. And my next question was, Tracy, a little bit more about, what do you think a brand like Viviva, first of all, I would like to know how did you come across Viviva? And second thing is, how do you think Viviva is, um, creating any kind of impact in, say, your shop or the people whom you have met?
Okay, I absolutely love the product. I had never seen it in a store. I was opening my store and I saw it on Fair. And so I purchased wholesale through Fair to be able to carry it in the
Right.
shop. And
Uh-huh.
I loved the display that came with the little samples. So I was just so intrigued by having this travel ability with watercolor and then the little enclosed brush with the water in it. It's just so convenient. But then I got to use the product, and the colors are so vibrant and they blend so well and they're gorgeous and it lasts forever. I'm thinking, okay, this is like a one and done kids coloring type of thing. I was blown away. The metallics are gorgeous. I just think it is just the most fantastic product in that watercolor line that I've ever experienced. And we have never spoken about this at all.
Yeah.
And so this is just authentically me just being like, wow, this is just so unique. And again, someone had never really, gone to that level with. So I have it in the shop and I explore doing art with it, and I love doing it with mixed media, and we have watercolor artists that come and get them, and they're just fascinated by the material and by the product. And I love having it here, and I love having it part of the items. Again, someone can try before they invest in any more, see what colors that they would like to have, and see how well it travels. I love the little travel kit that you can get. I mean, it's just wonderful. And that's how I found it, and that's how I use it in the store
Okay.
and in my
Know the
practice.
stories. Like you said, this is the first time you're talking about it. So
Yes.
fascinating to hear that you just stumbled upon it one fine day on Fair.
Mhm.
And what's your favorite Viviva product right now?
Again, the metallics. I love those colors and the shimmer that stays once you use that
Yeah.
paint into your artwork. It's stunning. It really is. I had the shop was open yesterday and some people were in and I have my samples out that I have been creating and they were like, "Are these are for sale?" And I said, "Well, not yet." I said, "I'm not finished." But yeah, that and I showed the product that I use. They were just blown away. Absolutely loved it. And so the reaction that people get because the depth of color is just gorgeous. I really love those metallics.
Nice. I'm very, very happy to hear that. And coming back to your shop, like we said some time back, we'll kind of start from the start and then come towards, what you've done fairly recently. To tell me a little bit about, what gave you that courage to just go up one day and say that, hey, I'm going to have my own shop? That too when you have a full-time job.
Yes. Yes. So I guess I really want to go back to my parents. I lost my father in 2017. He was very
Mhm.
young, 65 when he passed away, just retired. That's what's considered retirement age here in Ohio in the US. And never watched him actually enjoy retirement and get to do the things that he loved. And I thought, I am not going to work for a corporation to that point to where I never get to explore what I love. And so last year, I looked at this space, and it is in this beautiful plaza that has an amphitheater, and there are restaurants. And I told the owners of the space what I wanted to do. And they kind of laughed at me and never called me again. And I thought, really? You don't really think that this would work? And then they called me back about 6 months later and they were like, "Do you still want that space?" And I thought it was rented. I thought it was gone. I do want that space and I'm going to make this work. And I told my husband, I'm going to make this shop work. And that's exactly what I did. I got in here. I started painting other murals because all the walls were gray. There was no color. And I'm going to turn it into the art studio, art gallery that's in my heart, a place for the community And by golly, those guys think this is so fun. They love it. I've changed their minds. They were so worried about like what this was going to be, and they can't believe what it has turned into. And so I love being able to prove them wrong and tell them that I
Very
told
happy
you
to
this
hear
was
that.
going to be amazing. And it is. It is just
What
amazing.
made
And
them kind of hold back? Like, what was their apprehension?
I don't think that they could envision a place with art that would be successful. I think that
Mm,
was the bottom line. They're real estate owners. There are, stores here. There's a clothing store. There's a cigar shop. There are pizza places. There's not anything like what I do here. And there's really not too many places like this in the country. I'm hearing that. There are a few.
yeah,
And I modeled it just after things I love. It really wasn't a footprint of any place that I really knew. It was just what I wanted to do. So I think it was the unknown, not really knowing, like, I don't know what this is. What is she going to do? And they've fully embraced it and supported me. And I'm very grateful for them to believe in what I, wanted to do. And I just think it's funny because at first they were just like, I don't know about her. And I'm glad that I am here and that they're happy with it.
congratulations. I'm very
Oh,
happy
thank
to hear
you.
that. And I hope your store gets bigger and better with every passing year.
Oh,
And more people get introduced to art thanks to you and your shop.
oh, thank you. That is the dream. That is what I hope.
I know now you mentioned that there are very few places around like about like that. So it's not like you're emulating from somebody or some shop, right? So all the more the need to kind of have more places like Brutifully all across the world.
Yes, definitely. Create a space for community. Create a space where everyone feels like they can try without
Hmm.
judgment.
Hmm.
Having materials available for someone to sit down at that moment and create. That's you used to go to the craft stores and there's really no place for you to open up that kit and,
Right.
and sit down and work on something right there with someone that maybe has some guidance that can help you. That's unique. We have this room that I'm in. It's called the Celebration Room. It seats 20 people. You can have an art birthday party or a shower or I've done group team building exercises for corporations, and they do an art project together and have their meetings here. I mean, there's just an abundance of things you can do creatively with an art space. So think outside of what the norm is and do something for your community to engage them and give them space to explore.
Makes sense. Definitely. No, all the best with this. And tell me a little bit about what's in the pipeline now when it comes to Beautifully. And now that you get more free and have more time for yourself post the 30th of June, what's
Yes.
what's in the pipeline?
So in July, I have kids camps. So every week in July, there's a different age group, and the kids get to come here in the morning. They'll have a
Hmm.
snack and their a daily project. And then there's one that they're going to complete for the whole week. So they go from toddler age, from ages 2 to 4, all the way to 19 years old, to teenagers. So that is coming. We have amphitheater, which is an outdoor music concert area. And so every Thursday there's a concert, and every Thursday I have a craft that matches the singer. So the music goes with the craft, and you can come in and craft to go along with that. And that just started this Thursday, and it goes all the way through fall.
Just give me an example of that.
Sure. So we have the band, a retro band, Styx, and they
Mm-hmm.
used to sing a song that's very popular called Mr. Roboto. And
Okay.
so that craft that night is a little mini robot necklace that you get to assemble and build your own robot necklace. And so people are very excited about making their own piece of jewelry based on that song. And then that a cover band will be out at the amphitheater and you'll be able to hear the music. It'll be so exciting.
Nice. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Oh, wow, that's
Yeah.
nice. Hope there's a
Yeah.
lot of, you know, people who come and do this.
Yes, and there's shoppers, I have my clothes that are in the studio for sale. So
Hmm.
people come if they want to buy a gift, there's a whole gift shop. They can shop, They can sit down and do a craft. So there's various things to keep you here and look at and see and explore. So that's going to continue during the daytime hours. Right now, my hours are in the evenings because I work during the day. So that is going to be a huge difference, being able to be open during the day and have those daytime classes and daytime events and daytime shopping and just being open during the day. So I'm looking forward to that so much. And we'll still have evening classes here and there, but the consistent daytime hours are going to be wonderful.
Wow. So you're an exciting summer to look forward to.
Very much so.
Nice. All the best with your project and for a new beginning post June,
Yes.
All the best to you.
Oh, thank
And
you.
before I let you go, Tracy, I've got a couple of, rapid fire questions to ask you.
Okay.
So are you ready?
I think so.
All right. So the first question I had you partially answered it some time back. My question was going to be, what is it one odd habit that helps you stay creative? I think you answered that some time back about waking up early in the morning.
I do wake up early in the morning, and I think that it's very odd because I get the biggest question, do you sleep? And I really do sleep, but I get up very early because I enjoy it. I am kind of a night owl too, I will admit, but it's very odd to have that much energy to focus on art in the morning, I think, and I have it.
All right. Any other odd habit that you want to add to it?
Hmm. Gosh, I still love to go exploring and finding materials at like shops and consignment stores that I can revamp into a piece of art. It's always neat to create something unexpected. So I have that as a challenge all the time. And so I love doing that. We have salt and pepper shakers, for example, that we've turned into
Uh-huh.
these beautiful tassels that you can hang in your house. People were like, I didn't know you could do things like
In
that.
that.
So
Uh-huh.
I love
Oh,
stuff like
wonderful.
that.
Quick follow-up question. What was the last thing that you purchased from a thrift shop to make it into art?
Oh, the last thing I purchased was this giant clock, and
Mm-hmm.
I turned it into a giant letter B. It's a big running joke. When you walk into my store, my front desk is covered in all kinds of refurbished letter Bs that I've collected for
Beautiful.
years. And so I'll have to send you some pictures so you can see them. And so there's this giant
Wonderful.
clock that is made into a letter B for Brutifully, and they're
Uh-huh.
covering the whole front of the desk. And people are all the time, can I buy that bee? And I'm like, no, but you can make a class or you can have a class and make your own mixed media one.
Yeah,
So we do
make
that
your
all
own
the time.
DIY. So you need to kind of get people away from the consumeristic attitude to like DIY attitude, like make it on your own.
Exactly.
Wonderful, nice. My next question to you is what is always in your art bag?
Oh my gosh. Well, my iPad. Always carry it. I carry it with me everywhere. And it's the large one. So Procreate, and that is always in my art bag. And then my travel paints. So my travel paints and the travel pens or the brushes that you can put the lid on. That was the
Yes,
best invention with the water in them and then little pads of paper. Those are always in my art bag.
thought you for a while. Nice. My next question to you was, since you have a plethora of knowledge and wisdom out there, and also like somebody who's had so many years of experience in the world of art, what is your favorite mantra?
Oh my goodness. Okay. So I have a sign in my shop. It says a little weird is good. And
Mm-hmm.
I fully embrace being as your weird is your superpower. You have got to not squash that little inner voice that keeps you unique. So please listen to that and don't be afraid to try different things to find your style. I think that people are so worried that they won't be accepted or they won't be seen or that someone's going to critique what they do. Who cares? Embrace it and let that power you.
Wow, I love it. I absolutely love it. Thank you so much, Tracy. This has been a phenomenal podcast today. Thank
Oh,
you so much for your time.
oh my gosh. Thank you so much. It was an honor to be here. And thank you for creating your beautiful products. I absolutely love them.
Glad to hear that. And I can't help but also re-admire your lovely background and your beautiful shirt that you're wearing,
Thank you.
which kind of speaks you. It's your own art. So super fabulous. A big fan.
Thank you so much.
All right. Have a lovely day ahead, Tracy. Thank you so much.
You
Bye.
too. Bye bye.